Well, welcome back to Allen's Day. This is part two, working on the 1999 Jeep Cherokee. Started on it yesterday, just getting it off the trailer and figuring out if it's salvageable and worthwhile. Went through a few things on the first evening working on this. And found out that, yeah, I think there's something there. And this is one upgrade to perfect. No, it's going to be upgrade to maybe okay. We'll sort of see how that goes as we make progress on it. Like I said, this is one of those that I swore I'd never get myself into a situation like this. But I guess I'm a slow learner on what projects I should be walking away from. I'll get you in there and show you a little bit about what I'm doing on there today. But before we do that, give a little tour of the nice day. It just quit raining. We had plenty of rain coming down, and it quit. And there's the culprit. The big reason why I am working on this Jeep is because the length on there is 168 inches long, which will fit on the back of the RV hauler, and I can still pull a gooseneck trailer. So that's the reason why I'm working on the Jeep. And my wife renamed the Jeep for me today. It's no longer a Jeep Cherokee. We're just going to call it Krusty, and we're going to leave it at that. So anyways, that's what the Jeep is going to go on. Show you that. Well, hopefully in a couple weeks when I get things going. Yeah, we got some blue skies, but we got thunder in the background too. And we got a cat down here coming to check out what I got going. Well, let me get you turned around here and show you the project. Well, as I mentioned yesterday on the last part one, I was just going to go around this thing and clean this thing up, and this is your best friend. It's a air impact with just a blunt edge on there, and if you're working on a vehicle that spent any amount of time in Wisconsin, it's going to be rusted out on the bottom, or at least a lot of rust on there. So I just literally go around every solid surface I can find. Yeah, it takes a long time, but you just hit the air and you can see everything falling off there. It's going to do a couple things. It's going to see what you really have, and also it's going to get that layer of rust off of there so that moisture does not sit in that layer of rust, and you're going to sort of slow things down long enough until it served its purpose, or you get rid of it, or something else. So typical Wisconsin vehicle. So you just get on there and let it wrap. Yeah, I thought I'd be done last night. I'll spend probably another 20 minutes on it now, just to go through and get rid of a little bit more rust, sweep my mess up, and I'll show you all the goodies that I found today to start putting this Jeep back together and get it on the road. Well, let me show you what I got on today's shopping trip. Just started the project yesterday, and today is sort of trying to scramble and find who's got what. Just the parts availability on some of this stuff. It's a challenge to get it to an aim on a lead time. So what I got going on here on the goodie table is got stainless steel lines, brake lines, replacing every single brake line in it. All the flex ones put in there. Also all new calipers, those are going in there. Hub assemblies, putting new hub assemblies on there. So pretty much going through this thing. Exhaust, I've got that ordered. A lot of stuff I ordered off of Amazon. Not that I want to, but I tried a couple places locally and nobody's got anything. So Amazon is the way to go on some of that stuff. So I'll show you that when it comes in, but a complete exhaust systems and sway bars and anything you can imagine for the Jeep, they've got it there. Brake pads, all this stuff I got locally here. The Amazon stuff will be here and probably next week, Monday. Got for the interior, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but putting a light panel in there so that once I start hooking up a couple of lights and switches, everything's gonna, I don't have to cob into any of the existing wiring. I can just start fresh with a brand new, anything I put in there run to a new panel. Battery, ponied up a little bit, got a good interstate AGM battery. Got it with the lugs on there and the studs. That way if I got to put a winch on there or doing any jumping, you got plenty of options here. Pricey little battery there. They don't give those things away. Steering stabilizer, new shock for the front, or Rancho. So when it comes to the safety items, I try to make an honest attempt to make sure that all bases are covered. So when it comes to brakes, suspension, yeah, if you can't afford to do it, brakes and suspension, and you're going down the interstate at 70 miles an hour, you got no business starting a project like this. A couple other things. The big, most expensive thing was them damn plates getting on here. Plates in Wisconsin from years past have just really jumped up there for the price of plates, but you can't run them down the road without plates. So get the plates on there, get going on this stuff. Before I get started, I'm going to do a real close before picture, and then I can show you what I accomplished on here. Bumpers getting replaced, putting some side armor on there. Going to cut all that rust out of there. The doors, going to cut the bottoms off the door. I've got some armor, side armor ordered for it. Real cheap, putting that on there. This whole rocker or running board down here is just a freaking mess. All the way through. So I'm completely cutting that out, and I'm putting a new piece of tubing all the way from there all the way to this end. So it's going to be a piece of 6x2 tubing. The guys at the shop are fabricating that up, getting her painted, giving me a little head start on this. Front end not too bad. A little bit about where the battery is sitting, but pop rivets and some spray paint and some bed liner. I think that thing's going to look pretty good. Front end not too bad. There again, we're back to rust and more rust all the way through there. So that's the before picture. So I'm hoping to wow you in the after picture and see what we got going. So that's all I got for right now until I get all of those parts put on, and I start getting more parts coming in next week. But I'm going to have a full plate next couple of evenings and this weekend to get what I got done here. So bring you back when I get some more goodies. Well, I'm going to start on the easy stuff first. Battery. So when I got this, there was a ground on here that looked like this style clamp right here. I switched that over to an eyelet on there so I can just bolt it on there. And also there wasn't a ground going to the body, which I think is very important. So I had to put a ground stud on here. The other stud broke off. So typically what I do when I put a stud on, a ground stud on there, that's a 3/8 stainless steel bolt. Got a washer on the back, ground the surface, and I take and I jam that thing all the way on there so that I can make a little terminal for it, and then the eyelets themselves will go over the top of fit right over the top. I'll put that into the end here, crimp that on, and we're going to have a ground stud. So like I said, you can never have too many grounds on a motor here. So we'll get a stud put on there, and then I'll have to do the same procedure as far as cutting this end off here and putting some studs on there, or eyelets on there, to clean this battery up here. And let me get you in there and show you what I got going. So what I set up on there is I use this for putting the lugs on there. And you just run this down. This gets screwed down here, screwed onto there, and we've got our connection here. Let me get you set up here again. So, lug, I always take and I put some dielectric grease inside of the fitting there. It's not going to hurt anything, and I think it does an excellent job compared to letting it turn green and corrode after a while. Stick this into here, and then I take my crimper and run that down. And I've got that seated on there, and I got a good solid connection. Yeah, if I wanted to solder it on there, yeah, that'd be a better connection, but for what we're doing here, it's never going to have that much amperage where I got to deal with it. And then what I'll do is slide some heat shrink over the top of this, throw a little more dielectric grease under the heat shrink to seal that up. And we've got almost a body ground here. So, take my heat gun, crank her up. Now you can see all that dielectric grease. That'll do a good job of trying to keep that from corroding in there. So we got that there. More dielectric grease here. And put that on. And I can just go ahead and put this on here. And you got a good solid body ground as compared to trying to take some self-tappers or running it into the frame, and then anytime you got to get this off of here, you just got to take the nut off and you can add more grounds to it or whatever you need to do. So that's how I put a ground stud on a vehicle. And like I said, I'll get to these here, and once I get her all put back in there, I'll bring you back and show you the finished product here. Battery's in. Got the lug and eyelets on there. Got the other side put on there. Originally this had both cables going into one, into the battery clamp. I took and I split them up. That way if you got to do any troubleshooting, you can check one or the other lead to see if there's a ground or a short in there. And I made a quick simple little tie battery clamp hold down. I don't know what happened to one, but that was missing, so I just took a scrap piece of aluminum, put a little piece of loom on there that way hopefully it's not less of a chance it can short out on something if somebody's up here with jumper cables or something. So anyways, battery's in. On to the next mission. Thank you for watching Alan's Day. Life is about making choices. Some things are already perfect. Some things you may choose to upgrade. This channel will show you both. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again.